So, cutting down all your trees over there again. All right, so adding and subtracting mixed numbers, just like we talked about up here, we need a common denominator. So you need common denominator. So if you're wondering, if you put this in your calculator, you know, how did I get such a different answer than I started with? It's possible it changed the common denominator for us. Changed it and took care of that. So again, I'm perfectly fine with you guys using a calculator for this. I just want to make sure you know what you're doing and you make sure your answer makes sense. Now I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a tip with this, is use a little bit of estimation. So let's talk about kind of making sure that we didn't enter something wrong. Let's talk about like what this answer should look close to. So I'm going to tell you guys to use estimation to kind of help. Because there's going to be a time that you grab a calculator and you don't know how to put a mixed number in or you're not sure. Let's check and see about what the answer should be going into this. So 5 2/3, what's that close to? 6. 5 2/3 is closer to 6 than it is to 5. So technically this could be 6. How about 12 3/8? It would like round kind of down to 12. So 6 and 12 would be 18. That's our estimated answer. So I'm looking for an answer somewhere around 18. So if I put this in my calculator and something really bad goes wrong, like I don't know how to actually put this into my calculator and I get a wrong answer, it's going to allow me to kind of go back and be aware that I'm doing something wrong. You shouldn't like just blindly think your calculator is 100% correct. You guys, oh, I'm sorry, 100% correct. If this is in your way at all, feel free to move. Sorry, I don't know if it's like obstructing your view down in front. Okay, so again, you can put your 5 2/3 into your calculator. Oops. And I got something really close to 18. I got 18 and 1/24. Is that what you guys got? So I don't know if you want to check on entering that in, if you're like making sure you guys know how to enter it. But we were pretty close with our estimation. 18 and 1/24, so that's pretty close. 1/24 is a very small number. If I told you guys were each getting 1/24 of a slice of like of a pizza, it would be a lot of people to divide a pizza up with. Skimping on our pizza delivery here. All right, so estimation isn't a bad thing to think about to make sure our answer makes sense. So this next one, again, using estimation, the 73 is a whole number, but this 17 and 5/9 is really close to 18. So I'm doing 73 minus 18, and then ends up being, is that 55? Yeah. So 55-ish. So this is the estimated answer, but we want the exact. So again, feel free to grab your calculator. 73 minus 17 and 5/9. What did you guys get? 55 and 4/9. So 55 and 4/9 when we subtract that using our calculator. So again, we know that we're not doing something really goofy, really wrong. We got some crazy answer that doesn't make any sense. Using a little bit of estimation is a good idea. Like, do I have have enough of this supply to do this, you know, activity, this job at work, whatever it happens to be, I hope you don't always have to grab your calculator. Are you trying to figure out how little the 1/24th of a pizza is? It's probably even hard to make that many slices, right?
Yeah.
A brownie pan would be easier, 24, so it'd be 8 by like 3 or something, 4 by 6. Pizza would be hard to slice it. All right, I don't know if this is hard to read up here. This is 108 and 1/4. 108, 1/4 up there on the top. Can you guys read that? And then this is, we don't know this. This is a question mark here. And this is 62 and 3/8 and 143 and 1/2. So feet and inches are something they use. Feet, inches, cups, like measurements like that is something we actually use fractions a lot for. So fractions are not unheard of in construction, in culinary arts, like, so that's kind of why sometimes this class with this real world math, like, it really is a useful class because you might end up using fractions in your life even if math is not your strong suit. So just being being aware of that and not being afraid of it. So 3 sides of the parking lot are shown here for us. The distance around the parking lot is 518 and 3/4 feet. How do I find that third side? What am I going to do? How do I find that? There's probably 2 different ways you can probably go about doing it. And it's not one like calculator, one by hand. It's like there's probably 2 different math ideas.
Add up the 3 up and get the answer. Take 518 2/4 feet.
Yeah, so what Clayton's saying is let's add these 3 together. Let's go 3/4 of the way around this shape. So he's saying let's add them. So we're going to add 108 and 1/4. We're going to add 162 and 3/8. And we're going to add 143 and 1/2. We're going to go the 3 ways along the side. So I highly suggest, again, grab your calculator. I probably wouldn't mess around with that by hand. I don't feel like I'm ever fast in calculator fractions.
I'm kind of
Getting better.
with more practice.
Yeah, and that's partly why I want you guys to be doing this rather than me standing in the front and watching. Oh, do you guys, so when I added it, it gave it to me as an improper fraction. Did it do that to you? Did you guys figure out how to switch that back? I know you did. I know you showed me already. So yeah, so there is a button to switch. So I got like this crazy
Big number over a small number.
yeah, like oh sweet, that makes a lot of sense. What just happened there? So if you want to switch it back, so Clayton showed me this yesterday, was there's a button on this calculator, there's a button like, it looks like times 10 to the 1/2 power. You have to do second and then that button. So there's like a little button that looks like this over the top. Something like that. And it'll switch it back for you. So, do you guys find that? If not, I can try and help you find it. I know these yellow calculators have them, and those guys have the white and blue ones.
Very popular.
So now once we have those 3 sides, we're going to take that away from the original like total distance around. So the distance around the parking lot, so we're going to take that away. And then again, switch it back if it switches over for you. And so what I ended up with, sorry, my 4 looks like a 9 there. I got 104 and 5/8 feet. Is that what you guys got? Yeah. prefer that over 837 over 8. So are you guys getting your calculator to convert things? Are you guys getting better at this? And this is the time to ask questions, or during AR, or when you have time with Miss Miller, making sure that you guys know how to enter things so that we get to a test. And I'm hoping these tests are really doable and that you're not getting hung up on things and running into a word problem that you don't know how to solve anymore because we're practicing them here together. So please make sure you ask if you have questions. All right. So multiplying with fractions. Multiplying with fractions is a lot easier than adding. So there's going to be times I'm going to say I would not even bother grabbing a calculator. For like these first two problems, I think grabbing a calculator is kind of silly, and I'll show you guys those in a second. However, if you're totally uncomfortable with multiplying fractions and you're like, I'm never going to remember those rules, I'm okay with you guys grabbing a calculator, but at the same time, I think doing like 4 and 5 are faster by hand. So I'll show you guys those, and then you can decide however you want to make a decision about that. One of the things, what's so good about multiplying fractions, what's the best part of it? Do you guys know why it's good compared to? The denominators you don't have to worry about. So we don't need common denominators at all, and that's what makes adding and subtracting so bad. So there's no common denominators needed. Now if you have common denominators, that's fine, but no common denominators are needed. So we don't have to worry about finding this, least common multiple of these numbers, and that's not necessary. The next thing that I like about it that I'm going to write next, and I put bullet points instead of steps because you can kind of do these in different orders. I like that you can cross cancel. So we don't cross multiply, you cross cancel with fractions. And I'll show this in number 5. You can cross cancel. Now again, if you're like, I never remember this, I've always been bad at fractions, I'm okay with the calculator. I just don't want to cripple you and show you that it's not possible. So in example 5, I see a 6 and a 6 on the top and the bottom. Since there's a 6 in both spots, I'm just going to cancel them out. So those just go away, and now I can continue on with my problem. Those 6 is gone. So when I see the same number on the top and bottom, you can just cancel them with fractions. So cross canceling, I think, makes multiplying fractions a lot easier. And once we do that though, in fractions we multiply across the tops and then we multiply across the bottoms. So you don't do the cross multiply maybe that you're thinking of, just multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms. And the bottoms. So on this one, the 6 is gone, it's just going to be a 1. The 6 is gone on the bottom, it's just going to be a 5. So I just multiply the top, multiply the bottom. So looking at a problem like that, 1/5 I think is easier than grabbing my calculator. Whereas on example 4, I have to multiply. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. And that's all I had to do. So in my perspective, grabbing my calculator would just kind of be silly in that case. But it's up to you. I'm not going to judge you for grabbing your calculator. It's not like I'm going to say Kat grabbed your calculator 5 times, 5 points off on the test. No, it's not like that.
Grab a calculator to check it.
So yeah, it's coming up to you guys. And then you always want to make sure you do simplify. Now the good news is your calculator will simplify for you. So you want to simplify the fractions if you need to. Now 3/8 and 1/5 does not need to be simplified, but I guarantee this one will need to be. Now I could have cross-canceled here, or I could have grabbed my calculator. Either way, I'm going to multiply it by hand and just kind of show you guys. So this ends up being 63 over 240, I believe. So 63 over 240, I'm going to have to simplify. And I think they can be divided x by 3. Or is it more than that? Is that it? That's not a very, that's some kind of tougher numbers there. Oh yeah, so 21 over 80 is it. So if you just went to your calculator, grabbed your calculator and did that, I mean, that's it. That's all you would have to do there. So I'm fine with the calculator. Like, I don't know how many more times I need to say it. Just make sure you're comfortable with it. You're not walking in the day of a test and saying, hey, how do I use this thing for, fractions? All right. Do we want to break? Yes. All right.